Hey guys, so back for another video. I'm super excited because I've almost hit 700 subscribers, which is really cool because I never wanted a channel in the first place. But thanks to you guys, it is actually helping me through a lot of my own things, and it's really nice having the support, but it's also so amazing that I'm actually helping some people and making a difference, which is all I want in my life. That's all I really want. I'm going to be totally lame and tell you what I'm wearing today as well, just as a courtesy to my beautiful sister. So I'm wearing L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, so I'll just pop that over on here. Just felt like a bit fun today, a bit fresh, a little bit playful, so yeah, and it's also quite like not really an overpowering smell, which is kind of cool. Anyways, enough about that because it's not what I do on my channel, as you guys know. So been looking through your topics that you've suggested, and I thought a really good one to do today was actually someone asked when a mental health issue goes from being like a generalized mental health issue like depression and anxiety to when it gets to a more personalized problem and it starts affecting you like really badly, where it becomes like bipolar, schizophrenia, social anxiety, and a more like individualized mental health issue. So me personally, like you guys know, I'm not a professional. I'm just like working off my own experience. I think when it becomes a more personal issue is when something that happens directly affects you. So it's not a death of someone in the family, it's rather death of your partner or a breakup or something like that that's very personal to you. I think also when it becomes out of control, so when there's really nothing you can do to kind of help yourself get through these issues, I think that's another really big trigger of when something is a more personalized mental health issue. And you guys would know, like, grief is like it's a very common thing to go through in your life, and it's horrible. Like, we hate grief. Like, grief is horrible. But I think it's such a common thing that we're going to deal with in life, guys, and I hate it. Like, it's my least favorite thing in the whole entire world, as I'm sure you guys understand. But I think when something first happens, I think the first like part of like a mental health issue is when it can change from just a common mental health problem, like just being depressed in general, like just feeling low, having low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and all these sort of things, and it's not triggered by anything, it's just more in yourself. And that's when I think it's quite a common mental health issue where it's treatable with the right strategies, the right coping mechanisms, the right help. Like, and I think when when it can be helped or when it can be improved, I think that's when it's more of a generalized mental health issue. Someone like me, I would straight out say mine's a really personal one because I've had a lot of things happen individually in my life to myself, as you guys would understand. We've had things happen to ourselves personally, and that's like they've directly affected myself and they've directly affected you guys in your life. So I think that's when they kind of become a more personal one, and when you start doubting yourself and you start hurting yourself or you start coping using things that aren't great for yourself, I think that's when they become more personalized and then they become more of they're a mental health issue, but they're more personal to you because you can't just go to a psychologist, talk through issues, go to the gym and fix things. Like, that's another thing. It just popped into my head. So when you've got like a generalized depression, anxiety, things that are kind of copable, like, and they're things that haven't been triggered by anything in your life, I think that's another way that we can kind of group together these issues. So, I mean, the question that was asked was, how do you know when a mental health issue goes from being a generalized issue to like a really personal one? And I think when you can consistently help yourself and there's like a consistent climb in improvement in yourself, in your life, the way you cope with things, I think that's when it's a generalized one, because I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, and I'm not saying that some people have it easier. Please don't get me wrong there, because everyone is different. Someone could have a breakup and it could be the end of their entire world and their entire existence, and they could be horrified and livid and heartbroken, and that's your issue in yourself, and that's your life. And no one is going to tell you that that's a tiny issue, because it's not. Because breaking up with someone could be the same as me losing a dad to death. We all go through issues, and no one's issues are bigger than the others. Like, we all have issues, and in our own head, everyone's issues are just as important, and that's what we also need to understand about that. But I think when mental health issues become a little bit more personalized, this is what happens. It goes, you're improving a little bit, and then you go low again. You're improving a little bit, and you go low again. And it's like a constant roller coaster of emotions and coping strategies and help. And I think that's when, they really become a personal issue, is when, you just can't find a steady way of getting better or improving. So, I mean, that's just something I was thinking about as I was reading through your questions. So I mean, when it starts affecting you and your relationships with people closest to you, when you can't get help and consistently help yourself, I think that's when it becomes more of a personalized mental health issue. I mean, that's not a category, that's not a proper name for mental health issue categories. It's just something that you guys asked, and I just wanted to talk about and touch base on a little bit. But yeah, I mean, all our mental health issues are just as significant as others. Like, just having anxiety sitting at home is just as bad as having schizophrenia and being in an isolated room locked up. Like, we all have our own issues, and all of us are equally going through as much as we all are. So yeah, and I mean, kind of leads me on to my next sort of topic was someone said that if your friends and family aren't prepared to sit down and talk to you, is it worth talking to them? So what I mean by that is that if your friends and family aren't strong enough, they're not mentally strong enough, they're not mentally, they're not skilled enough to talk to you and help you through stuff. I think you also have to sit back and try and ask yourself these questions, like, have they already got a lot going on in their life? Like, and we're not burdening our friends, guys, don't get me wrong, we're not burdening each other. No one ever burdens me when they ask me for help, ever. But sometimes in people's lives, we need to kind of be a little bit careful. So, let's use a really random example. This is nothing to do with my life. This is not a personal thing. This is a really random example. If you have a friend, say, that's just been through a miscarriage, and I'm really sorry if this is a trigger for anyone on here that listens, I'm really, really sorry. It's not supposed to be a trigger, it's more of an example. If someone's dealing with a miscarriage of a birth, and they're grieving the loss of a baby at the moment, I mean, you wouldn't go and talk to them because you don't know which donor to use. Or if you and your partner are having a baby, you wouldn't go to them and be like, I'm so upset, I'm feeling depressed and anxious because I don't know which fertility clinic to go to, and blah, blah, blah. And, just things like that, guys. Like, just be careful who you're talking to, because sometimes you might not realize, and that they're good friends, but you have to kind of pick your targets with your friends and family, and you have to make sure that they're in a good enough headspace to sit down and be like, hey, Bob, I know you're going through a lot right now. Do you want to talk to me? Like, I have a few hours free today before work. Let's catch up for a coffee, see how you're going. Make sure that people are, they're prepared to sit down and listen to you, and they are strong enough to deal with it, because sometimes things can be quite evasive and quite full on. Like, one of my friends, I've not had her as a friend for a long time, but she had to see me all cut up, and she took me to the hospital, and I felt really guilty, but I know that she's been in the military before, in the army, so she has seen a lot, and I said, look, I'm really, really sorry that you're coming to help me right now, and I do appreciate it. I just want you to know that it is a little bit of a horrible scene to see right now, And she said, it's fine, I've seen worse, I just want to come and help you. So I mean, even just preparing friends for when you've got a lot on your mind, or physically, or anything like that, just preparing your friends and family is something good too. Like if you're, if Demi comes home and I really need to talk to her about something, like be like, hey Dem, like how you been? Like have you had a good day? What have you been up to today? And she's like, yeah, I've had a really, really good day. I'm like, oh, awesome, cool. I just have some things I want to talk to you about. Like, would you be keen to have a chat for a little while? We could go get coffee for an hour or two and just have a chat. Oh yeah, Shelbs, that sounds great. Or, oh, I've got to do this and this. Can we do it tomorrow? So just make sure that when we talk to our friends and we open up to our friends and family, we do just pick our targets and make sure that they are mentally strong enough to deal with things. We don't want to be accidentally adding too much onto them, because like I said, no one is ever gonna put a burden onto me by talking to me, guys. I love talking to you. It's my favorite thing in the world right now, and it is honestly the only thing keeping me going. I'm not allowed to go back to work for 6 months, just for mental health issues, because I'm a FIFO worker. Not going back for 6 months, and it's really, really affected me. So you guys being here and listening and letting me help you, my gosh, this right here is why I'm so happy today. It's because I can come in here, talk to you guys, vent, give you advice, and yeah, I'm just really super happy to be doing videos with you guys. So just making sure, so someone just said, you just got to make sure that the person that you're talking to, you're opening up to, you're asking for help, just making sure, because not everyone's like myself or you guys, not everyone's happy to have chats all the time and, listen to people's issues. And it's not really, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but not everyone's strong enough to cope with each other's issues. So I think that's another really important thing we need to realize. We need to just tread lightly when you're going to talk to friends, things like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. It was a little bit mixed up. There's a few topics in there. I'm trying to write notes and stuff to bring with me, but I kind of want to keep it pretty chilled with you guys, because it's quite nice to have a real personal kind of experience with you guys. It's nice, and yeah, so it's good. Basically, we touched on the fact that when does a mental health issue turn from a generalized one to more of a personal one? It's when it starts affecting really close relationships to you, when the event or the incident is more personal to yourself, when it goes on for a little bit longer than it should. That's when I think we all need to ask for help. It took me 12 years, guys. I'm slightly embarrassed for that, because I did put my family through a lot. I put my sister, my mum, my older sister, my older brother, I put them all through so much because I was going through so much and I didn't want help. And I think that's when I realized I really did need to get help. And I'm not a crazy person. I've just been through a lot of stuff. It's just so good to talk to you guys. You're amazing. I love you all. I'm so blessed to have a channel like this. And I definitely hope that I can give you guys something each time I upload. I don't know what it is, but I hope I can bring something to your life that is valuable in any way possible. Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, and I hope I've helped you guys a little bit today. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.